Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. Welcome back to this YouTube channel on narcissism, narcissistic relationships, coping with these relationships, healing from them, and sometimes understanding, is someone an asshole? So let's take that one on. So, ready? This is a, betcha, a good one. They always are. Let's figure this out. So here's, in this particular, am I the asshole? My family has not celebrated anything to do with me since I was 12 years old. My dad and his new wife had a baby that year, and I was kind of forgotten about. I would get birthday presents and such, but no party or anything. I got used to it and started a tradition of celebrating with my friends. We would go see movies or whatever. One of my friends' moms found out and started making me a cake every year for my birthday. When I graduated from high school, I had saved up enough money to go on a week-long vacation in New York City with my best friend and her mom to see Hadestown. I just finished university and I'm starting my new job right away. I guess my dad had planned a big party for me as a surprise, but I didn't show up because I went out with my friends instead. When my family started asking me why I didn't show up after my father had gone through all the effort for me, I explained that he hadn't celebrated anything of mine in 10 years, and I didn't know he had planned to do so this time. He told everyone I was lying, so I asked him to post any pictures he had from my birthday, parties, extracurricular activities, or high school graduation. He obviously couldn't, and everyone started shitting on him. Now he's mad for talking about private family matters. I am just going to go over there and pick up the few things I have left in that house and just move to my new city without dealing with this anymore. Am I the asshole? 100 times, no, you're not. And bless you. First of all, congratulations on graduating, and bless you for having endured all of this. So, narcissistic people love throwing people parties for themselves. Now, when a genuine person throws a party for someone, they consult with them and ask them, how can I make this something you want? And they're doing it from that place. So this is a father who pretty much, she's 12, the father remarried, 22 is around the age you graduate, so 10 years in, now all of a sudden he wants to celebrate an event in his daughter's life. So that's galling enough. And bless her heart for actually figuring out the workarounds. That's young. It's a young age to recognize your parent really doesn't want to be bothered with you anymore. But something I've often talked about, I don't know if this dad's narcissistic. He's certainly entitled and has no self-reflective capacity and all of that. But something I do say just specifically in general about narcissistic people is that they often think they're great people. They really do. They walk around the world thinking they're great and generous and empathic and nice, and they believe that, which is completely at odds with the experience that someone like this person's daughter is having. So he throws a surprise party, expects her to go. She's almost at a very young age, almost found the radical acceptance. Created the workaround, saved the money for the New York trip, got through university, got that job, I'm guessing completely on her own. So has really stepped into herself in a way that she's taken good care of herself. It's young to figure that much out. Then the father pulls this stunt, makes it a surprise because of course I have nothing to do with you. So of course a surprise party would work. And then, and this is where it gets interesting, she really does a great job. This is what I love about this particular Am I the Asshole? It's a great example of how to push back when you're being gaslighted, right? I've done all these things for you. You're so ungrateful, whatever the heck he was saying. And so she called him out on it. Post the evidence. If that's the case, share the evidence. He didn't have the evidence. But what do we always say the gaslighter does? Instead of the gaslighter saying, okay, snagged, you're right, sorry, I should have done better, it's you shouldn't talk about private family matters. You shouldn't talk about private family matters is the ultimate toxic person's play. It's a way of because again, the minute other people can weigh in on toxic stuff, the person who's being harmed in that system can get bolstered and get some support, right? So this whole idea of don't talk about the toxic family stuff. Now, what he's trying to do is paint his daughter as somebody who has poor boundaries and wants the family to look bad. So after gaslighting her, what's always the follow-up? Boom. You're doing a bad thing. You're a bad person. There's something wrong with you. And that's what gaslighting looks like. So this really is an Am I the Asshole about gaslighting. And the great thing was how she pushed back. Now, I would imagine there certainly must feel some grief over right to the end, probably, okay, I left a few things at their house and even pulling that stuff out. In the long run, this father is only interested in whatever new family he's created. And then at some point he'll stop being interested in them too, because he had a new baby. It's been 10 years. So that child is going to slowly come to the age when he abandoned his own original child. So this particular Emma the Asshole really shows how it shows the example of a parent who views a child as doing nothing more than either being an inconvenience when they don't need them or serving their needs when they do. So getting to put on this big public show of, look at this party. I don't know who he invited to this party, because clearly her friends would have known. And then, so it seems like he might have just invited the people that worked for him. Maybe he was looking for an excuse for a gathering, whatever it was. At that point, his child was a source of narcissistic supply, or whatever, or supply, by graduating college. So he was going to run with it. But his unwillingness to accept any responsibility, his willingness to say, oh, this is just you for wanting to paint me in a bad light. Remember, we talk about Darvo, that idea of deny, attack, reverse victim, offender. That's exactly what this is. Denied, no, 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 I did all these things for you. Attack, oh, you're the one who's doing wrong by the family. Reverse victim and offender, oh, woe is me. Look, I do this party for you and this is all you're doing for me. All these, I mean, I think that, again, that the toxic relationship is sort of the relational equivalent of a knock-knock joke. It always goes down the same way. When it's happening in one's real life, like I'm sure this poor person, you feel like a terrible person, and you feel hurt and you're made to feel bad. She's none of those things. She is, I have to tell you, at a young age, this is somebody who figured out how to push back on a parent's gaslighting. Made it easy for her, but again, hers was a case where, at best, maybe occasionally this parent provided a roof over her head, but not much else. But this idea of a parent checking out and then feeling that they have the right to check back in when it works for them is classical toxic parenting, and that was a fantastic way to push back on the gaslighting. But gaslighter is going to gaslight, still going to make it about him, how she hurt him by making the family look bad. And anytime you hear, hey, when you do that, you make the family look bad, your ears should perk up, because you are now walking into a conversation that's likely a toxic person trying to hold their ground in a family. So no, my dear, you are not the asshole. Thanks again.